Why do I ride an air mattress? Well, that's an interesting question. Mainly, they're really a lot of fun. They're one of the most fun vehicles I've ever used to surf on. I've got a windsurfer and knee boards as well. And this is a ton of fun to ride. The illusion of speed is excellent. You're right down on the water, very close to it. Your face is probably about 8 inches off the water or so, closer sometimes when you pull right in the tube. Excellent for tube riding because you're lying down. Smaller, you can get deeper back on the tube than you can on a knee board because you're smaller. And also the speed is very good. The speed is excellent. These things will get through waves that virtually no surfboard will get through. If the wave is pulling up on this side, it's kind of hard to explain as we're not on a wave. I tend to hold on this outside because obviously if you fall off you want to hang on to it. It doesn't have a handle on it. I generally run my elbow and hand along on this side, press on this side here when I'm turning. Sometimes put my hand right underneath here and pull up on this side when you're pulling into a turn. There's obviously body torque and everything else involved in it too, and the size of the wave and what the feeling is. You can do aerials with these. You come off the bottom, come right off the top, and fall through the air, coming back down again. A lot of arcs you can cut on this are very similar to what you can do with a knee board or a surfboard. It's kind of a hard thing to explain because mainly what I'm looking for is really there's a feeling in it. You're down very close to the water. I mean, you can be on a 2-foot wave and the wave's actually up over your head. Very little tubes come along. There's the feeling of going over the texture and things in it. It's just a really neat surfing vehicle. I would say that originally when Paul came up with this design, we must have ridden 30 or 40 different air mattresses. Sometimes we changed it by as little as a 1/16 of an inch, and you could feel the differences in it. And I don't know how many ones we made with different numbers of pontoons, different internal construction, everything. And this particular design wound up being the best.
How much better is that mat than the old canvas mats?
No comparison. There's a big difference in feeling, speed, and everything. I mean, I basically go out on one of the old mats, and they feel prehistoric. You know, it's like going out on a longboard. There's that kind of performance difference. This is half, a third of the weight. I'm not really sure on that. The weight of the difference to see it would depend on the mat. Probably a quarter of the weight of a Hodgman or something. And it's just the material is very thin. It conforms to the water flow. Basically, the idea of this is it gives you a varying rail shape. Like when the mat's fairly soft, and you're running down a wave and you're not loading it up. If you've seen some pictures of these mats going, you virtually don't see any water flowing off them. There's no water flowing off the sides or anything when they're just in trim. When you throw it into a turn, when you're riding, you could squeeze the front. This increases the pressure, increases the rail diameter in the back, which creates more suction, which holds it in through the turn. So you've got a varying rail shape in it. It's very, as well as the thing is soft, and so it conforms to the shape of the wave. Inflation-wise, you just don't blow these things up just like a rock and go out and ride. It's going to feel a lot like a boogie then. More so that thing. Saying inflation on an average wave, on a 5-foot wave, I usually take it and bend it up to about there, to about a 90-degree bend, and quite hard at that time. Like if some people want a little harder, they may want to just bend and it's hard at this point. You can kind of tell it's really hard back here, but generally like it becomes firm at this point. This would be your basic setting, say on a 5-foot normal wave, and on a hollower wave you're going to want to blow it up harder. On a flatter wave you let more air out of it. And it's kind of an individual thing. It's also really by feel. It's a difficult thing to kind of sit down and talk about when you inflate it like this, because everybody's going to ride theirs a little bit different once you really get used to it. When you're first learning, you want to go out with it basically harder than what I'm talking about to get a basic feel of it, and then try letting a little air out of it until you get used to it. The durability of these things seems to be quite good over the period of time that we've been using them. This is a fairly recent development. They've been around about 2 or 3 years. Had one thing to ride out of all the surfing vehicles that I have, this would be my favorite. There's several reasons. Virtually works anywhere in any type of surf. Also, it's very, very easy to transport, and I really like the feeling of it. I've got a windsurfer, and that's, although that's a very small windsurfer and very light rigging on it, it's much, much more of a project to transport, and there are many more things liable to go wrong with it. And the spoon is quite small and easy to transport, but this is the convenience of this. You can roll it up, you can take two mats, a pair of fins in your wetsuit, put it in a handbag, and carry it onto the plane. There isn't any other certain vehicles that I know around that are anything remotely like that.